I just got back from my visit to Oogie Boogie Bash 2026, and in today's video we are going to deep dive into my entire experience to see if it is worth a visit. Oogie Boogie Bash is a very popular event. It is Disneyland's Halloween party, but of course it is hosted at Disney California Adventure. It kind of feels like the whole park gets decked out for Halloween these days, which is pretty fun. Starting with Buena Vista Street. It is very purple. There's a bunch of bat imagery. There's a statue of the Headless Horseman, which is really cool. One of my friends pointed out last year that for Halloween time, Main Street at Disneyland gets really orange, highlighted by the orange Mickey pumpkin head at the base of Main Street, while on the other park, California Adventures Buena Vista Street gets all purpled for Halloween. And of course, orange and purple are like the two main Halloween colors, so I really appreciate that the two parks mirror each other really well. Buena Vista Street is of course something that you can experience without visiting Oogie Boogie Bash, so let's talk about some of the attractions that you can only experience during Oogie Boogie Bash, which are the treat trails. These are like little walkthrough experiences highlighted by a single character. It's always a Disney villain, of course. Disney has a lot of iconic villains to pull from for this. And while you're walking around near the villain, cast members will be handing you candy, which is always fun. I did miss out on a couple of the treat trails this year. I skipped Dr. Doofenshmirtz. I don't think he sounds that great, and he looks kind of frightening, if I'm being totally honest. And on top of that, I was not the biggest fan of Phineas and Ferb growing up, so I don't know, it just was not a priority for me. The other one I skipped was Syndrome. He is in Pixar Pier, so he's kind of way off on his own from the other treat trails. This used to be Sid. I remember when it was Sid. That was kind of weird. They had an adult playing a small child from the Toy Story franchise, but I don't know, it was kind of amusing. Syndrome seems to be more like, I don't know, kind of traditional. It wasn't really worth going out of the way for, in my opinion. But diving into the treat trails, we did experience Oogie Boogie takes over the Animation Academy within Hollywoodland, so all of the screens tie into the Oogie Boogie theme. Obviously, the event is literally named after Oogie Boogie. He looks pretty good. The music and the colors and the vibe is really strong in the Animation Academy, so definitely one of the stronger treat trails in my opinion. We also did Judge Doom, which is like way back in the far corner of the Hollywood backlot. This is like the shortest treat trail, I think. It was also probably the least crowded. Judge Doom was alright. Nothing really stood out to me about this treat trail, if I'm being totally honest. Right across from Judge Doom is Hades, also in the Hollywood backlot. I thought Hades was really funny. He had a cool timing moment when he got really angry and the screens around him flashed orange, kind of like how it does in the movie Hercules, so I thought that was pretty cool. Hades is a very iconic villain for good reason. Next up, on the other side of the Hyperion Theater, is Ernesto de la Cruz from Coco. I've seen him sing in years past, but this year when I went through the treat trail, I did not see him sing at all, which is a little disappointing. However, the costume is really impressive, and it helps that he has awesome lighting on him as well. This is probably one of the better looking characters at Oogie Boogie Bash. Over in Avengers Campus is Agatha Harkness from WandaVision, and I guess she got her own show, I think. This treat trail's alright. Agatha takes over the Doctor Strange corner of Avengers Campus. If you know my opinions on Avengers Campus, you know that I think that corner is really wasted. So it's kind of funny that this kind of gives that corner of the land like a designated purpose. Because outside of Oogie Boogie Bash and outside of when Agatha takes over the Doctor Strange corner, it's pretty useless. And the final treat trail was actually the first treat trail I've ever seen to have two different characters. We have Maleficent and Yzma from Emperor's New Groove sharing the same treat trail, which was pretty interesting. Yzma was one of the new characters for this year, so it was easily the most popular. Maleficent is really well done as well. Maleficent is another very iconic Disney villain. Yzma did have a lever, and at one point while we were waiting, she said the thing, she said the line, so That's kind of amusing. But that's a wrap on the treat trails. Moving on, another one of the biggest changes for Oogie Boogie Bash this year is they got rid of the parade and they replaced it with Madame Leota's Swinging Wake. I was really curious to see it, and I was really surprised to see that it's literally just another parade. So I was kind of confused about all the blowback online about them replacing a parade. It's literally just a parade. I think the reason why they advertised it as not a parade is because the floats are far smaller than the parade floats for the older Halloween parade. However, and this might just be my Haunted Mansion bias coming in, I thought Madame Leota's Swinging Wake was way better than the old Halloween parade that they had running at Oogie Boogie Bash in years past. I thought the music was pretty catchy. I thought the floats were cute. I liked how they had one themed to the stretching room. They had different costumes related to Haunted Mansion, from the caretaker outfit to the ballroom dancers. Lots of fun stuff. I do find it really amusing how much Disney leans into Haunted Mansion imagery for their Halloween celebrations, but if you walk over to Disneyland Park during the Halloween season, you're gonna find Haunted Mansion Holiday. It's just so silly in my opinion, but the backwards logic of the Disney corporate machine is kind of amusing sometimes. Another thing about Madame Leota's Swinging Wake is that we originally watched the whole thing from Hollywoodland, and then we did a few treat trails, and then we walked all the way around to San Francisco, and we tried to cross, but the parade beat us there. Or I guess we should say we beat the parade there, because the parade stops multiple times, and by the time we got to the pier area right across from Ariel's Undersea Adventure, the performers looked so exhausted, and I couldn't blame them at all. Like, a decent chunk of time had passed, so they were performing for a very long time, so I felt kind of bad for them. They were doing really well though. They all looked amazing. They were all very high energy. They were all putting in so much effort, so I'm really appreciative of the work that they do, but I'm kind of disappointed that Disney is making them work so hard. Madame Leota's Swinging Wake stops multiple times along the parade route so they could do a whole dance sequence. So it feels like they're overworking their performers, which is pretty disappointing, especially because it's really hot right now in Southern California. Even at night, it's been humid and sticky and icky, so I feel bad. But going back down to Grizzly Peak, Villains Grove takes over Redwood Creek Challenge Trail. I've never been that into Villains Grove. I did it again this year. It's kind of just a light package thrown on top of Redwood Creek Challenge Trail. They do play music. It kind of provides vague imagery of a few of Disney's most iconic villains. The standout moment for me is the Lion King section with Scar and Be Prepared. They don't actually play Be Prepared, they play like an instrumental version of it. They have some like silhouettes of some hyenas marching, which is pretty interesting. Villains Grove seems pretty popular, and I honestly don't think it's worth it, so you can skip it if you want to, but I don't know. If you're paying to go to Oogie Boogie Bash, this is another attraction that is specific to the event, so it might be worth doing just for that reason alone. But I would never buy a ticket specifically for Villains Grove. I mean, it is kind of amusing. This is probably the closest thing Disney would ever get to a haunted maze like Halloween Horror Nights or Knott's Scary Farm. So I guess there's that aspect. Nothing terribly interesting. Another area of the park that goes all out for Halloween is Cars Land. Cars Land gets decked out head to toe for Halloween. They do put up a light package on the mountain range behind Radiator Springs Racers. It's like purple and green. In my opinion, it's really ugly, so I don't understand why they do that. I think they should just keep the classic orange. But the decorations through the rest of the land are really well done. They do technically have two ride overlays for Mater's Junkyard Jamboree and Luigi's Rollickin' Roadsters. Mater's becomes Mater's Graveyard Jamboree, which is very punny, but honestly nothing changes aside from the general lighting and decorations in the area, and they play Halloween music instead, so I don't know, that's kind of a tame overlay if you're asking me. And the same is true for Luigi's Honkin' Halloween, Hall spelled Haul, hilarious. But again, there's not much to it. Calling this an overlay is pretty generous in my opinion. And I believe it is not specific to Oogie Boogie Bash, so if you really want to do it for some reason, you can do it during normal operating hours as well. In my opinion, one of the best benefits of attending Oogie Boogie Bash is lower wait times for Guardians of the Galaxy Monsters After Dark. This is a fantastic overlay of Guardians Mission Breakout. I have a full review video of Monsters After Dark already on the channel, so I recommend that you check that out if you have not already. It's absolutely brilliant. It is a continuation of the story of Mission Breakout. For some reason, the Guardians of the Galaxy left Groot behind in the Collector's Fortress, so Rocket has to run back to the fortress to grab Groot. And of course, because they broke out, they also broke everything out of the Collector's collection, including a bunch of scary monsters, and they're all on the loose. Pre-show video in the first cube room is amazing. There's Ghost Yondu. The drop sequence is so fun. The lighting and the energy is just sick. I'm a huge fan of it. Monsters After Dark is an absolute masterpiece in my opinion. And another unique aspect of Monsters After Dark is that it is only available after dark. So that means general guests have very limited access to Monsters After Dark because the overlay starts at like 3 p.m. every single day. And oftentimes California Adventure is going to close at like 6 p.m. because of Oogie Boogie Bash. So if you attend Oogie Boogie Bash, you have the whole event to ride Monsters After Dark. And obviously there's a lot less crowds, so you get to deal with much shorter wait times. And honestly, that's true for every attraction in the park. For everything that's open, a lot of major attractions are going to have much shorter wait times, which is a huge benefit for these Disney After Dark events, including Oogie Boogie Bash. But the thing is, you can literally go to any After Dark event and have those same benefits. So do you really want to go to Oogie Boogie Bash specifically for shorter wait times? I mean, Oogie Boogie Bash is the only one that's held at California Adventure. All of the other After Dark events are in Disneyland proper. So like, I guess it depends on which park you prefer. If you prefer the ride lineup at DCA and you want to go to DCA with limited crowds, then I would highly suggest Oogie Boogie Bash. If you're like me and if you think the ride collection at Disneyland is much better, then obviously all of the other After Dark events will give you access to a better ride lineup with shorter lines. So just wait for January and February for Sweethearts Night to start. I might have sounded a little negative in this review, but I'm honestly coming from kind of a spoiled local perspective. I've been to Oogie Boogie Bash multiple times. I think it is a lot of fun, especially if you have little kids. This Halloween event is definitely far more family friendly than the other Halloween events at Southern California theme parks. So I'm not exactly the target demographic, even though I love Disneyland and California Adventure. Like, the main thing that appeals to me is Monsters After Dark, and you can experience that at California Adventure without attending Oogie Boogie Bash, even though it is kind of a headache, as I discussed earlier. So that is my opinion on Oogie Boogie Bash 2026. Do you agree with everything I mentioned? Do you disagree? Please let me know down in the comments below if you visited already, or if you're planning to visit. I would love to hear. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you all later.